the last time you experienced an unexpected or unwelcome change? Maybe you lost your job or went through a breakup or were diagnosed with an illness. Change can honestly suck sometimes, and unfortunately, it's inevitable in life, and there's nothing we can do to prevent change. The only thing we can do is understand and control how we react to change. In this video, I'm going to talk about the wildly popular self-help book, Who Moved My Cheese, by Dr. Spencer Johnson. If you aren't familiar with this awesomely quick read, I'll give you a short summary and then talk about the 4 key takeaways from it that you can use to improve your own relationship with change. Before we get started though, I want to share with you my kind of a weird history with this book. When I was 13 years old and going through some changes in life, as every 13-year-old girl does, my mom gave me the incredible gift of signing me up for therapy. This is not the point of this video, but just as a side note, therapy is incredible and can benefit people of all ages, whether or not you think you need it. Anyway, my therapist recommended that I read this simple book called Who Moved My Cheese. I read it at the time from a perspective of a 13-year-old girl going through some life changes, and it really helped me feel more open to the changes that were happening and realize that change doesn't have to be bad. Fast forward to a few years later, imagine my surprise when I was working on my MBA in business school and saw this book on the assigned reading list for my management and leadership class. I hadn't even thought about this book in so many years, and when I read it again in the context of business school, I realized that it also has some great wisdom to offer in the professional world and adapting to changes that we may face as adults. I'm sharing all of this with you to say that this is a great book to read at any stage in your life, and its meaning for you can change depending on what's important to you at that time. So without further ado, here's a quick summary of Who Moved My Cheese, for those of you who aren't familiar. This book is short and sweet, and you can finish reading it in less than an hour. The story is set in a maze where 4 characters, Sniff and Scurry, who are mice, and Hem and Ha, who are 2 mouse-sized miniature people, search for their daily sustenance, cheese. The cheese symbolizes different things in life, like a job, relationships, money, or personal happiness. In the beginning, all 4 characters find a large supply of cheese at a specific location, Cheese Station C, and they grow comfortable and reliant on this predictable source of nourishment. However, the central conflict arises when one day they discover that the cheese at Cheese Station C has disappeared. The 2 mice, Sniff and Scurry, immediately accept the new reality and venture out to find new cheese. On the other hand, the 2 miniature people, Hem and Ha, are resistant to change, fearful of the unknown, and cling to the hope that the old cheese will return. They end up feeling stressed and hungry as they wait for the old cheese to reappear, and they refuse to go out looking for a new source of cheese. This is obviously a very shortened version of the story, but hopefully you get the idea. Now, I want to share with you 4 of the lessons that I took away from Who Moved My Cheese that really transformed my own relationship with change. The first main lesson in the book is about the importance of embracing change. Sniff and Scurry represent those who are quick to adapt and accept change as a natural part of their life. They understand that change is inevitable, and they are not afraid to leave their comfort zones in search of new opportunities. Our comfort zones are comfortable for a reason, and change can also obviously be uncomfortable. But I think that simply by recognizing that change is going to happen, and that will probably be uncomfortable, it can help us adapt and accept change rather than resisting it, which usually just makes things more uncomfortable. The second lesson is around overcoming fear. Hem and Ha, the 2 miniature people, embody the paralyzing effects of fear and resistance to change. They remain stuck in their old ways, clinging to what is familiar. The story shows that fear of change can hold individuals back from growth and success, and it is essential to conquer this fear to move forward. This lesson is super relatable to lots of situations. Maybe you're stuck in a dead-end job, or you know that you should end your toxic relationship. But chasing those situations also sounds overwhelmingly scary, so you just stay in the situation, basking in low-grade misery. I have definitely been guilty of resisting change. And then once I let things go and embrace the change, I usually end up thinking, oh my gosh, why didn't I do this sooner? Lesson number 3 is to anticipate change. The book highlights the value of anticipating change and being prepared for it. By keeping an eye on the supply of metaphorical cheese and noticing when it's starting to deplete, we can detect early signs of change and adapt accordingly, rather than waiting for a crisis to occur. In the book, the stockpile of cheese slowly depletes as our heroes eat it, as it obviously would. One real-life example of this immediately comes to mind, as this is becoming more common today. Let's say you work for a company and they start doing frequent reorganizations and cutting expenses, and maybe they even lay some people off. These are all signs that a change in your employment situation could be coming up, and there are things you can do to prepare for it. It can be tempting to cling more to the security of a job when you're feeling financially threatened, but it can also be beneficial to anticipate potential change and maybe start preparing your resume and starting to at least look at what other options might be out there. Finally, lesson number 4 is to move beyond our comfort zone. Who Moved My Cheese encourages us to move beyond our comfort zones and embrace new challenges. Stagnation and complacency can lead to missed opportunities for growth and personal fulfillment. Even if change is not being thrust upon you, it's important to be aware that it could be coming, accept that things can happen, and be open to exploring new possibilities and different realities should a change occur. I found that by thinking about change more often, rather than resisting it, I remain more open to new opportunities, and I'm better able to pivot and adapt when the unexpected happens. And these are the 4 top lessons that I learned from the book Who Moved My Cheese that I've been applying in my own life. Obviously, it's a practice and it's still a work in progress because change usually takes us by surprise, and it can also be uncomfortable. I hope you found this video helpful and that it's helped you think about your own relationship with change and how you can approach the inevitable changes in your own life. If you enjoyed this video, you might also enjoy this video where I talk about another natural feeling, jealousy, and how to use it to your advantage. So definitely check that one out if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.